Hello, I'm Thomas Hare, Chief Content Officer of the Performance Driven Marketing Institute, a not-for-profit trade association that serves companies in the performance and direct-to-consumer marketing world. Welcome to the latest episode of Take 20, created by the PDMI's Brand Response Council. These 20-minute live conversations featuring leaders in the performance marketing world speaking about the hottest topics in the industry are scheduled twice per month. Before we get to today's conversation, a quick housekeeping note. We'll be addressing any questions from the audience at the end of the session today, but you don't have to wait to ask them. Utilize the questions tab on your control panel to type and send your question in. We'll be collecting them, and we'll try to get as many as possible in the final moments of the episode. Today's episode is the fifth in our Back To series, Back to Restaurants. Perhaps no industry had to pivot more quickly, nor face the variation and options to do so than the restaurant business. Many pivoted to curbside pickup, many closed, and emergent ghost kitchens created an entire new marketplace to showcase emergent talent. How will restaurants continue to adapt and recover? Today, Modern Postcard's Chris Foster will chat with Ayala Donchin, owner and executive chef at New York City's Evelyn's Kitchen, to talk about how she tackled the challenges. Chris, Ayala, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Tom. And thank you, Ayala, for coming. We really appreciate you being here, getting the industry insight and the knowledge that you can provide. So as we all know, the COVID torpedo really hit the restaurant industry hard. One restaurant I spoke to said that the month following the outbreak and shutdowns, they were getting about 10% of their normal daily sales. When they were finally able to regroup for pickup, they only eked back up to about 30% of their previous sales. It's not an uncommon story. And it's hard to keep a business and a team together at those kind of sales levels. So, as we all know, the industry had to become smarter and more adept and dig deeper into their bigger purpose of building community engagements. So one of the stories that emerged is that restaurants became less about just serving food, where these winning restaurants needed to show that they were an integral part of the community and that neighborhood culture. So we're so excited. A brilliant case study into this phenomena is Evelyn's Kitchen, family owned and woman led by Ayala Donchin. This East Harlem restaurant leaned into its community and has emerged from COVID stronger than before, and been a recent recipient of the Good Morning America Award. Congratulations, Ayala. We're thrilled to have her so we can discuss how restaurants can act kind of as a beacon in the neighborhood, beyond just serving food, becoming a real cultural light that people rally around. So first, Ayala, congratulations on the Good Morning America Award. What has it meant for you in Evelyn's Kitchen?
The opportunity to be featured on Good Morning America certainly feels like a benchmark moment for the business. I mean, we've been open for 12 years, and I feel like there's been many times throughout our growth that people have said, "Oh, this is the game changer. This is the game changer," and it is. But the game changer doesn't mean it's less work. It doesn't mean people are not functioning from 5 a.m. To 10, 11 o'clock at night every night. But this felt good. It felt good to be recognized by a group of people that see a lot of small businesses, and what Tori Johnson does with the Deals and Steals segment, which is what we were featured on, is she really looks to elevate and feature small businesses. And so part of us going on Good Morning America meant that we committed to shipping 54,000 of our banana pudding pudgies. So our last 4 or 5 weeks was figuring out operations for how to produce at such a large quantity. And getting recognized with the award during the segment was just a shock. I mean, I couldn't even keep it together. I promised myself I wouldn't cry on air, and of course, as soon as they brought it out, I burst into tears, and it was good. It also, I think, was really motivating for my team. A lot of times, we're in the kitchen and they're in the kitchen actually doing the production. And so we knew we were working towards this goal to get 4,250 12-piece boxes ready for the air date on the 22nd. But then to have it sort of culminate in being recognized as a team and for what we've been through for the last year and a half, I think really sort of felt good all the way around as a team.
That's wonderful, and it's well deserved. Oftentimes folks look for the immediate gratification, but as you know, in 12 years of business, sometimes you can take 12 years to become an overnight success. But you had mentioned in COVID where, you've been working really hard with your team and really trying to keep that team together. From what I understood, though, you really also leaned into the community as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when we talk about the pandemic as a business owner, it really starts in February of 2020.
Sure.
Because I think that's when we all started hearing the buzz. And then, end of February, beginning of March, you started seeing the really large restaurant and food businesses shutting down and putting their employees right away on unemployment. Where there was so much unanswered, there was, nobody knew what was going on. And so as a small business, responsible for people's livelihoods, I'm looking at what the big guys are doing and saying, should I be doing that? Is that what we're supposed to be doing? And innately what I felt was I'm responsible for people's livelihoods. I'm responsible for my team. Most of us have been together for 10 years and they've really helped me build the brand and the business. And I felt like if I closed, I wouldn't be able to open again, right? There was such this unknown of what would happen, but also what would happen to my people and what would happen and what would they do? And running concurrently with that, we had, it was a Sunday night, I think it was like the 12th or 13th of March at this point. So we'd sort of been on edge for a couple of weeks and I worked service that night for someone. And towards the end of the shift, I learned that New York City public schools had made the decision to close indefinitely. And so I put out on our Instagram, if you're the parent of a New York City public school child and you're worried about where your kids are going to have meals tomorrow, stop by Evelyn's Kitchen and we will feed them no charge. I thought I was talking to our East Harlem community. I thought, because we've been really ingrained in the schools, our philanthropy is committed to children in East Harlem and schools in East Harlem. And when I woke up Monday morning, the post had gone viral, which I've experienced before. So I think it had been reposted 6,000 or 7,000 times. I had all these calls from the media. And all of a sudden, I found myself at the forefront of food insecure, the sort of real panic around food insecurity, and what parents were feeling and what families were feeling. And so I was very fortunate at that time. We got a call from DeAndre Jordan, who played for the Brooklyn Nets. Mm-hmm. He had seen the post and he committed to 3 months of feeding children. And so for me at that point, as a business owner, what that meant is I had cash flow and I could make payroll, but It also very early on in the pandemic, it anchored our team and our business and our brand with purpose. Yeah. We had a purpose. We knew what we wanted to do. We knew what we were doing was going to impact people on a positive level. We could contribute in some way. And I really think that sense of purpose, that anchor, is what kept us going, is what kept us going as a team, is what kept the business going. It was quite terrifying. In March and April of 2020, we had to go to Restaurant Depot to get food. And, Restaurant Depot is this huge, giant place. And, you're trusting that everyone is following the same safety levels. But everything was so new. So, we were really, our team, we actually did close for a week to make sure our entire team was healthy, nobody was sick. We gave everyone the opportunity if they wanted to come back or they didn't. Everyone said they did. And so April 1st, we started. We were already set up. Our storefront was already set up for to-go meals. We don't have a sit-down restaurant. Everything we do is already pick-up and delivery. So we didn't have to pivot in that way. We were able to, so we shortened our hours. We were only open 4 or 5 hours a day, only 4 days a week. And then on the weekends, we did the meals. So what I tell people looking back at that time, because the statistics you gave in the beginning are very accurate. We lost half our business in one fell swoop at the beginning of in March when catering just went off the map. And basically all we were doing every week is that we would make enough money to buy food, to sell the food, to make payroll, and buy more food.
Right.
The two main purposes were making payroll and feeding kids and families. And then we also got another organization supported our work, and we began to feed essential workers as well.
Yeah,
so we really had sort of this frontline view, and just delivering to the hospitals was terrifying. People are coming out in the hazmat suits, and it was, we all felt this. We were living through a science fiction, movie. We were in the science fiction movie. And
right, you were in the center of it. What I love about what you just said, Ayala, and I think that gets to the heart of what you had talked before about brand development, is, and as a side note, I teach a branding class at UCSD Extension for the last decade or so. So I'm all about brands. And what I've learned and what I teach is that you don't have to be a big brand to be a great brand. Great brands have the authentic connection with their audience, and it becomes less of a customer and a business, and instead makes a community. And what I love about the Evelyn's Kitchen story is just exactly what you said. You said you focused on two things: feeding kids and families and making payroll, right? Leaning into the community and leaning into your employees, right? And that became the mission and the purpose of the brand. And what I love about that is that it suddenly starts moving Evelyn's Kitchen from just a quote unquote small business restaurant, and it becomes a brand, right? And that's actually that transition of being a brand within East Harlem, and a really strong East Harlem brand. What a great, and it's a fantastic story. It's a wonderful story for COVID. Hopefully someday you can write a book about it, because I think that what you did was remarkable and heroic. And I would like to then talk about, now that you've gone through that, you have another kind of reopening happening in a couple of weeks. And then 2022 is kind of moving ahead. A lot of people are thinking, well, what's actually going to happen now, right? You had mentioned possible ghost kitchens for a startup person versus you, Evelyn's Kitchen, a more mature brand focusing on brand development. How do you see this industry moving forward with all the different permutations and restaurant communities?
So it's a great question. I mean, I think it's the kind of, it is what all small business owners have sort of been having to, permeate and percolate on for the last 18 months. So the most important thing is we started going through it, like once we sort of had the system in place of what we were doing on a day-to-day basis, was how are we going to generate more revenue? How do we, as you just said, go from just being an East Harlem sort of staple, and in many ways we're a destination. People know us. Some of our items have gotten national attention before, but we needed to generate revenue. So one of the first things we did is reach out to Goldbelly. They are an online marketplace of curated regional and artisanal goods, and we pitched our Pudgies, which is our signature line of goodies. And very quickly, I mean, the process to get vetted, because we already knew how to ship and we were already shipping ourselves, by holiday 2020, we were on Goldbelly, and our revenue just from shipping and having that larger reach was a game changer again. I mean, we always sort of said that we focused on shipping when somebody thought about it. We'd be like, oh yeah, we ship. Okay, fine, let's send out some stuff. And holidays we would get busy, but Goldbelly provided us daily, 50, 60, 70 orders to ship, and it widened our reach. Again, we're no longer in East Harlem, just in East Harlem. We now are a national brand, so that helped a lot. We looked into ghost kitchens because this idea that we could be in a facility that we didn't have any other responsibility except for sort of a fee to access it, and then potentially be able to run several different restaurants out of one kitchen, was really attractive, especially when we didn't know how long things were going to be shut down. We didn't know when New York was going to open back up. For us, ultimately, though, we want to grow our brand. We don't just want to generate revenue. And I think that if the ghost kitchen concept was existed when I started the business in 2009, I think it would be really attractive because it allows you a facility, and many of them are really brand new, well run, give you access to sort of all the bells and whistles and the toys you need as you build a business. We don't want to be behind closed doors. We want to be front center. And I think COVID and sort of what our, and I hate the word pivot, but what our pivot was to really look at growth, to really look at, you know, how do we make sure that we're never in this position again? How do we make sure that we're one of the big guys? And so all of our planning and strategy has been around, you know, how do we grow? How do we move to retail and other specialty shops?
Sure.
What is our packaging like? How do we save money on packaging but make a bigger, you know, bigger impact with it? And so, yeah, I mean, I think how do you move forward from COVID is how do you ensure that you're never in the same place as you were the first time a crisis hit.
That's, I think that's brilliant advice, because one of the things that we've talked about, and a little bit of plug to the PDMI audience for the PDMI East in Miami, which is coming up. One of the roundtable topics will be planning and preparing for change. So just what you talked about, how do I make sure that I'm not caught flat-footed again? One last question before we open it up to the folks who are watching. I'm assuming, but I want to ask you this. You made such a wonderful and conscious effort to help with schools, help with frontline workers and the like. Do you see, as your brand grows, do you see that sense of community involvement growing as well?
Absolutely. I mean, it's so my background is I moved to New York to work in nonprofit, and so I spent my first 10 years in New York working with kids in schools, and having a really clear idea the type of resources and the type of support that's needed in order for, you know, the folks doing that work to be able to do their work. We started, I think 4 or 5 years ago, a principals roundtable at Evelyn's Kitchen. And once a month, the principals from, we have like 13 schools in our immediate area. They come in, they have lunch, and talk, and how can we help? What can we do? So absolutely, you know, community and building community and supporting community, which is really what I think we have the ability to do, is how can we support in an authentic way? It is always going to be built into what we do as a brand.
Well, that's so exciting, because the stronger you become as a brand, the stronger your ability to help is going to become. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
So we're at about 20 minutes past. Tom, do we have some questions from some of our audience members for Ayala?
Yeah, we do. We had a few things come in, and you actually guys tackled that gold belly question before I really got to it. So as a gold belly customer as well myself, so might be ordering soon. Anyway, one question that came in asking kind of about all the different changes that restaurants had to go through digitally, from accepting online orders, implementing contactless payment. Can you talk a little bit about how this transformation affected you positively or negatively?
I think that we were already set up in a lot of ways. We didn't have to figure out how to package. We already had, our whole menu was built as elevated comfort food to go. And so we were ahead of the curve on that. I think what it did do, and I do think it was a very positive impact, is it made us more thoughtful and more sort of deliberate about how we present, what the experience is coming into our space, what the experience is for our team, so that people feel safe, and that there is, things that always happen behind the scenes and people weren't aware of are now out front. And it's almost, part of what we know is the experience, to make sure people feel good. From our team that comes in at 5 o'clock in the morning, to the customers that come in, to the delivery app drivers who come in, what is their experience? How are they feeling? So I think we're very deliberate and thoughtful about COVID protocols in general, although for most restaurants, it's things that they were doing already. It's a little bit more upfront now.
Great. Do you have a key marketing goal or two as you focus on the reopening of the storefront next month? Thanksgiving, holidays, et cetera?
That's a great question. It's very, I find what my challenge is macro marketing goals. And, how do we see the big picture of the brand in general and what each cycle looks like? And then figuring out the logistics for the day-to-day, like when does packaging come in? What does the packaging look like? We just, this year as part of our, from COVID, we've always done Thanksgiving, and we have been featured Eater Magazine as one of the top Thanksgiving places to pick up in the city, and we've been doing it for 10 years. We're now shipping Thanksgiving nationwide. And so figuring out that process, making sure that it's the same experience whether you pick it up or we're shipping it to you, those kind of and then making sure people feel good about that. That's sort of a micro marketing goal. And then the macro marketing goal is, I think for me, I would say growth, letting people know that we made it, we're excited, we're investing in growth, we're trying to elevate. We're not trying to be the same as we were before COVID.
Sure, that's wonderful.
A couple more here that we'll try to get to. You spoke about your staff and how committed they were. Obviously, staffing issues in restaurants have been covered widely in the media. It's an ongoing situation. How have you been able to manage this issue for your business?
We have a core team that's literally been with us since 2010 when I opened the business. My first hire, Betty Ramos, she started as a dishwasher and an apprentice, and she's now our head baker. Her daughter is our second baker. Her ex-husband is our catering chef. So we've all been together since the beginning, and we're able to communicate really openly, transparently. If I can't do something, they know I can't do it. And if I can do something, I will go out of my way to do it. And that's the way we've always communicated. I think, we pay well, and I think that COVID sort of shone a light on the fact that, people are having to work 2, 3, 4 jobs just to get by. And so we always put our team, and their livelihoods at the forefront of what we do. And I think it's why we've been able to retain staff, along with just listen, not everybody loves it there. And if they don't love it there, it's really clear right away and they don't stay. But the ones, that fit with our goals and what we're doing stay a long time, and it's their business also.
Wonderful.
Great. And one last one, and it's a different angle on the Gold Belly idea. I'm guessing from a marketer who's interested in maybe getting involved. Can you talk a little bit more about how Gold Belly helps provide the tools for restaurants to market their services nationwide?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, for us, Gold Belly has been wonderful because they have created a model that allows, they guide you in how to ship your product, present your product, package your product, how to market your product and have it have legs. So if somebody orders, we started doing inserts in the boxes so that it would generate a second sale. They give us access to the folks who order from us, so we're able to follow up with them. I think that Gold Belly feels like a partnership in that their goal is to elevate small business. As a small business, our responsibility is to make the most of it. So they're not going to sell it for us, but they're going to make sure that they are assisting us in making sure that what we do sell has the widest reach, looks the best. They vet everything, and I think that that's something that's really important. I can't just add a product to my Gold Belly page. I have to ship it to them 2 or 3 times. They'll give feedback. What's on there is really good because they're good at what they do.
What I love about that is the one thing that COVID also revealed were these ecosystems that started to be not only, they might have been there before, but they're really flourishing with a help first mentality, right? Gold Belly succeeds if Evelyn Kitchen succeeds, right? And everybody's kind of working towards the same goal. So I think that that's one thing that COVID has been good, is that a lot of folks from different parts of an industry kind of put their hands in together and said, okay, how do we do this together to make everybody stronger?
I think the folks who made it through COVID, I can speak for myself, but I think this is true in general, had a really good team of people around them, not just internally, but I had my accountant, my attorney. So when opportunities came up for grants or loans, we had all the paperwork in place and were able to do it right away. Everything is filed properly, and that part is together, not because of me, just because I'm able to bring in the people that do it really well. And I also think collaboration is a huge part of it. Collaboration, communication. If I have an idea, or if another restaurant around us had an idea, how can we help each other? How can we do it together? And that's the same then with the corporate partners like a Goldbelly.
Wonderful.
That's great. I think that's all the time we have today. It's been a really great, really great to have you here, Ayala. Chris, thank you for guiding the conversation as always. Really thoughtful stuff. We look forward to hearing more about your growth and how things come back here starting in November when you reopen the storefront.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Your next opportunity out there in the world of attendees to attend one of our live online Take 20 episodes is Wednesday, November 10th, when the Back To series takes a look at how the media marketplace, both agencies and outlets, have come through the changes. Visit thepdmi.com/take-20 to check out the upcoming schedule, to watch past episodes, and to register to attend upcoming episodes today. Thanks again for checking out this episode of the Take 20. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your work week. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye.